Good morning, boys and girls. Today we will go through lesson 17. In this lesson we will be reviewing fractions and mixed numbers that we find on number lines. I'm going to go through this rather quickly. I believe it's probably information you are already aware of. First of all, let's take a quick review at a number line. It says on this number line, the tick marks show the location of the integers. If you remember, integers include all of our counting numbers, all of their opposites, their negative numbers, and 0. Okay, well, on this number line, we see that every tick mark indicates the next integer going in both directions. However, sometimes on a number line, we will mark numbers that are in between our integers. In order to do this, we need to use either a fraction or a mixed number. Very quickly, let's review. A simple fraction simply has our numerator over our denominator. The numerator will be smaller than our denominator, and our numerator will indicate parts of a whole, parts of a group. Now, in the case of a mixed number, that is simply a whole number combined with a fraction. So, an example of a mixed number might be 1½ Our whole number is 1, our fraction is 1/2. Now, let's look at a number line. I'm going to turn the page. Example 1 says, what mixed number is marked at point A on this number line? Well, if you study this a little bit with me, you'll see we have marks, tick marks, and we have 0 on our number line, 1, 2, and 3. Now, in between, for example, 0 and 1, we have several other tick marks, the same as in between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Point A is some number that is bigger than 2 and less than 3. As we are trying to identify point A, there are several steps to follow. Let's look in our book. Step 1 says that as we move from 0 to point A, we pass points for the whole numbers 1 and 2. We cannot go past 3, so we know that the whole number 2 is at least part of our mixed number answer. Step 2 says we now need to figure out at what fractional part is point A pointing to. We do that by figuring both the numerator and the denominator to figure our fractional part. Now, you can figure the numerator first or the denominator. It looks like our book is going to figure the numerator first. And so what we are going to do is count how many tick marks past 2 is point A. And it is 1, 2, 3. Therefore, 3 is our numerator. Now, to figure the denominator, we have to count how many total segments there are between 2 and 3. In other words, we are trying to determine how many segments or chunks is this number line broken into between 2 and 3. In order to do that, you will want to count the spaces or the segments between each of these tick marks. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that the distance between 2 and 3 has been broken into 5 equal parts. Therefore, 5 is our denominator. And our mixed number for point A is 2 3/5. I now would like you to just take a quick peek at your ruler and spend a few minutes studying it. We are not going to go through this entire activity. But looking at your ruler, first of all, locate your inch marks. Then I'd like you to go back and indicate and locate your half-inch marks. Make sure you can identify them. And separating each half-inch in half again are our quarter-inch marks. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, another whole. Notice, though, as mathematicians, while I could say 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4, 2, we always want to have fractions in the simplest form, using their simplest terms, their lowest terms. Therefore, if I were counting each of these tick marks in order, I would say 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch. 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2. We'll have an exercise where we will practice counting and writing our fractions in simplest terms a little bit later on. Now divide each of these sections in half again, and you will see the 1/8 inch markings. Let's try counting these markings using our terms as we can. We have 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, 6/4, 3/4, 7/8, 1. Let's try that again. 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1. All right, and finally, looking at your ruler, divide each 1/8 inch section in half again, and these are your 16ths tick marks. Would you now look at example 2? We're going to use our ruler to find the length of this segment to the nearest 16th of an inch. I would love it if you were using a ruler that looked like this. I will caution you that sometimes the rulers that you bring from home have even smaller markings, only between the 0 and the 1, and those are actually our 1/32 inch marks. They are super tiny. I cannot think of a time when in our math class we will need to worry with them. So if your ruler for some reason goes even smaller right here, if it would help you to simply use a classroom ruler, go ahead and borrow one. The smallest markings on my classroom rulers is 1/16 of an inch. Let's turn the page and zoom in and look at how we count using the 16th inch steps. You'll see we go to 1/16, 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, 3/4, 3/16, 7/8, 15/16, and our next inch marking. All we've done here is that whenever possible, we write our fractions using the lowest terms. And so, to go back and measure the line segment that was previously on page 70, we would find that it is 2 7/8 inches long. While you might say, Mrs. Martin, I counted 14/16, that is true. It is at the 14/16 mark, but the simpler way to write the fraction is 7/8. All right, looking and practice. I want you to start following this pattern. Certainly use your guide up here to help you if it will. And I want you to continue the sequence all the way up to 1.5. And then write the mixed number that is halfway between -2 and -3. Again, I encourage you to look at a number line. It will help you make sure you're on the right track. Look at a number line and answer C. And then go ahead and measure D, E, and F. You are going to measure to the nearest 1/16 of an inch, but remember, if that fraction that has 16 in the denominator can be written in lower terms, be sure you write your answer in the lowest terms.